like. And here on the main stage, I already see Sharon and Lydia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Hello. Good, good, good. Good to see you both. The stage is yours. You're going to be telling us about fighting inflation and supply disruptions in a deli that I visited a few years ago. So I look forward to this.
Yes, it's very
The stage
different
is
now.
yours.
Very different. Okay, we're going to.
We'll see you in half an hour.
Okay, all right then.
All right. See you later.
This is Botswana, and that is the Okavango Delta. This is the home of Delta Meat Delhi. Tourism to the Okavango Delta makes up a majority of the tourism component of Botswana's GDP. Approximately 100,000 people per year visit the 60 or so camps and lodges in the Delta. They all have to eat, and many pay upwards of $1,300 a night. Delta Meat Delhi supplies many of these camps and lodges. Products are manufactured, packed into specialized sizes, weights and boxes according to each camp or lodge's specific needs. The products are then frozen for transport. These boxes are then delivered to air charter companies with weights calculated before delivery. These air charter companies then fly the boxes into the camps and lodges. As well as supplying the camps in the Delta, we also have a deli shop in Maun that serves local residents and self-drive safaris. Over recent years, to promote farming for food security, the Botswana government have instituted food import bans on certain products that they consider can be supplied from within Botswana. The location of the Delta sit in red zones where animals are exposed to disease. This has at times caused the close of importing or exporting meat products within these zones in order to prevent disease such as foot and mouth. All this has created supply chain problems and inflationary pricing within the country. This happened before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. So we became familiar with these challenges and adapted the way we worked using lean tools. A commitment was made when first designing our lean house that we would not skimp on quality when manufacturing a product, using only the best quality ingredients. Unlike other manufacturers, we will not cut corners. Pork was one of the first products targeted by the government. We responded to this by investing in a small farm and starting a piggery. We had to ensure this farm was located within the red zone. We then allocated a portion of this farm to a feedlot for cattle that allowed us to secure the quality of the meat by feeding during drought and seasonal weight changes of the cattle in Ngami land that are grass raised and free roaming. This provides us with consistent quality. With the piggery and cattle feedlot, we had secured control over quality. We had a strong control over the supply of pork. However, the supply of cattle was still erratic, with the large abattoirs in the country pushing up prices because they could export to EU and other countries. We then took our lead from Toyota, who built relationship with the suppliers. For us, it was the local farmer that did not have a lot of cattle. They came to us because we treated them fairly and paid them on delivery. They could at times wait for up to 3 months for payments from large abattoirs. We were consistent in our responses, building up reliable suppliers. We have tried our best to remain reliable and fair. We understood this relationship was vital to both ourselves and the farmers that supplied us. Trust, respect for people, and honoring your word goes a long way in building these relationships. When COVID hit, the borders were closed and tourism stopped overnight. Our business was tourist-based, and we had to respond in such a way that we could save the business. We had been implementing some lean during this period, so we had come to understand that the space we had was underutilized. The decision was made to move our shop in town into the factory. This required us to build a retail shell within the business. What you see here is the entrance to our factory, so it went from this to this. It was an expense, but it cut the substantial cost of the shop rental and transport because we could stock straight out of the factory as needed. During COVID, supply chains became severely damaged. One of the things we noticed that in order to cope with inflation, suppliers were cutting on the quality of products they were manufacturing, and the standard was no longer acceptable. To maintain our vision of keeping a high-quality product, we then decided to manufacture our own products to maintain the best quality products we could consistently. This also gave us an opportunity to manufacture different lines that were currently not available. Utilizing the skills of our son John, who being a qualified artisan butcher allowed us to continue developing our staff and our skills. We now manufacture 41 different meat products. During the lockdowns, we opened our business to a food shopping service, utilizing our delivery vehicles that used to go to the airport to do home deliveries as people had to get special permits to go into town to buy food. We filled our customers' need and kept them safe during COVID. We got through COVID and paid all our debts off. After COVID, the landlord of the warehouse we rented saw how we improved the building and decided to put up the rental, inflating the price and impacting the price of our products. This made us think again as to a way forward, recognizing that we had coped with the smaller manufacturing space and still had more than enough space, even though we were making more products. A property came available for us to buy. It was smaller, but in a good position. We decided to purchase and move our factory and store, knowing that with our lean skills we could implement single lane flow and manufacture on demand. The new space required us to make many modifications to the building to make it workable for a butchery and to fit cold rooms and freezer rooms. We knew we would only have 4 days to move both the factory and the shop. So we began to plan a few months ahead, preparing the building to be ready for the 4-day move. We used small local contractors to do the work, requiring us to be very hands-on with the project. To aid communication, we made the work easy to see by creating a scale model that could be used by the electricians, plumbers, builders, and carpenters. It allowed the discussion of the work to be done. It made it easier to explain the work. We eventually used this to plan where equipment will fit and where workers will be situated in the space to implement the single lane flow. We used our friend PDCA. Making a PDCA chart ensured we were on track and the building was ready ahead of time, with the exception of all the cold rooms and freezer rooms that would be moved along with all the equipment and stock over a 4-day period on the Easter weekend, as not to interrupt with business in any way. Over 4 days, we moved 9 cold rooms and freezers, breaking them down, putting them up again. Electricians connected cold rooms, freezer rooms, and all our equipment, all to be ready for our customers after the long weekend. It was a huge task, but our doors opened on time after the holidays. By the time we had moved in, tourism had started to pick up, and when the staff arrived for work in the new space, it was chaos. All of a sudden, no one knew how to do their job in the space. It was our time to respond to the smaller space. It forced us to lay out equipment correctly, use our Kanbans, and bring in single lane flow. The single lane flow forced a different response to the problems to solve, and it was a difficult time as staff adjusted. But we soon saw a difference in overtime from the old workspace to the new, saving an average of 2 hours overtime per person per day. We benefited from being able to train new staff within the flow, using Kanbans as guides to manufacturing. This went a long way towards making them productive on their first days at work, as they did not have to learn the entire process that can take months. Within this new way of working, we embraced another idea from Toyota and rotate our staff regularly. This has helped a lot within the business, as all staff have a generalized knowledge of a variety of jobs within the business, making it easier to cope with problems. The adjustment of single lane flow brought us to root cause. The way customers were ordering was making it impossible to maintain single lane flow and get our orders right and out on time every time. We realized that during COVID, many of the systems our customers used before were no longer being used, and that we, along with our customers, would have to set times and days for orders to be in, for us to maintain high quality products consistently on time. Re-establishing dates and times with customers fixed our problem. We were now able to keep single lane flow, keep our staff going home on time, and provide the best quality products consistently. It has been quite a journey, and we are still learning more every day as we develop Kaizen, working on small changes every day. So in summary, to cope with inflation, we use Toyota's principles by 1. Moving buildings which saved on rent and reduced inflation by landlords putting up rent prices. Owning our own building ultimately added value to our business. 2. Fixing supply chain problems, both for an inability to supply as well as maintaining quality by manufacturing our own products, in turn creating new skills for our staff. 3. Implementing single lane flow to help our staff cut on their overtimes, ensuring they were home with their families in the evenings. Using single lane flow to train staff and rotate staff. 4. Re-establishing dates and times with customers for ordering. This made up for any systems that were lost during COVID. Building a new form of relationship with our customers to ensure that we continue to keep their business by consistently supplying the best quality products on time every time for each camp or lodge specific needs. Thank you, or as we would say in Botswana, Kia leboga.
No. Any questions?
Karen,
Hi. Yes, sorry.
we can see you.
Yes, we were
We can
struggling to-
hear you.
Okay. All right. That was
Sharon,
quite a short presentation.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you comment a little bit on how Lydia came to know Lean and what was happening in Maun at the time? Because I think it's a very interesting story to learn, like, where the inspiration came from, the work that you were doing in Maun at that time at the dealership.
Well, I think actually Lydia can answer that question.
No, you know best
Um,
because you have a journey.
You know, Lydia actually used to visit Ngami because she was part of an outreach to our staff who were having problems. And when she came to see them and she came into the business to talk to them, she was amazed at their happiness in the business. They were just such happy staff and so willing to grow. And then when she went back to her own business, she felt she really wanted this to happen in her own business. She wanted to see them partaking in this joyfulness at work and willing to grow in the workplace. Is that right, Lydia?
Yeah, well, we have seen the success that you had in Ngami, and it's like a testimony because we have seen it when Sharon and they started it at Ngami, and we actually, for us, we had quite came to a place in our business where I felt all the wheels started to fall off. And then Sharon is like, if you do this, we actually can start fixing your problems. And it was a mess. When one starts lean, you see all these problems, you start to doubt how your business are looking and nothing is okay. So, but slowly as we started working from there, you actually start seeing the improvement. And it's a long process. It takes so long to do small little changes, and slowly over years of time one actually starts to see how one's business is changing. And today, looking back from where we were and how it looks today, it's very different. So I must say Sharon has been a big inspiration, and you guys certainly doing the lean from your side, and the people that we've been connected with has really changed us actually to come to the place where we are today. And we still haven't arrived
That's
yet.
great. And never-ending journey, right? I have another question. I think it will be interesting for people who are watching to really understand the sort of challenges that you encounter aside from the business challenge, like the people challenges, because you know in a place like Botswana, the people who work for you, they often come from very difficult backgrounds, and it might be, you know, we've been talking a lot in this conference about how lean not only improves a business performance, but also helps really the people in their everyday lives. And perhaps you can share, both of you, you know, a couple of anecdotes or something that you have observed with some of the people that were working with you and how their lives were improved thanks to this methodology.
Yeah, I think on my side, it's how they've grown, how cleaners become packers, become managers. You know, and that transition has happened a lot in the business where somebody's coming just to clean, mop floors, and then they start learning to pack boxes properly. They learn to utilize the systems because they're simple enough, and then they grow. And some of them are absolute sweethearts. I mean, at the moment, we're working on a system where because Lydia's in Portugal at the moment, she can see everything going on in the business through the security cameras, not just for security, but so she can see the work. So we don't look at them as security cameras. We look at them as how are we going to see the work through the cameras. And she has lots of communications with her. Tell her about the communication you get, my darling.
Well, I just also want to start because what you are asking, the challenges and with the people and stuff, for them, a lot of them, when they are starting, they can't speak proper English. So you actually learn to communicate that way as well. For us, all of them they can't maybe measure properly. So you actually need to learn that skill, and doing actually the lean stuff, it teaches them how to actually weigh things properly, how to measure stuff properly. And what we've done, like specifically for me in the bakery, is we have taken our recipes because of the skills I have, and we actually make the recipe before the time we are doing, like we call it a pre-mix. You will weigh up your ingredients. It's packed in a box, like you will go into Spar and you buy 1 kgs. We work like that. So when they are actually doing it, they don't need to worry about, is it 500 grams or is it 1 kg? So, and they're starting to learn actually how to work with that things, and it gives them the confidence. We had a guy that was a blockman, and it took very much convincing actually to move him to the bakery, and he's an excellent blockman. And to actually to get him to doing with the lean, working with the lean, it gave him the confidence. It's like, oh, I can actually bake a cake and I can ice it, and things that he didn't know before, which was difficult. So if you actually start to do lean properly and you have that systems, like this cake, this recipe makes so many cakes, it gives them the confidence when there isn't this chaos that they actually can work with it, and now they can actually start to train people properly as well. And what we do with the cameras as well, we can see in the mornings what they are starting to do. Single lane flow, we tried really hard, like you do one job at a time. So if there's too many stuff on the table, we can actually pick up the phone and it's like, what is happening there and why does it look like this? So we actually have that constant communication, making sure we can actually do it properly. And now we are actually trying to start doing a bit more of cross training with the staff and things. And it's a natural progression, I think, with lean as well. It gives you the next problem automatically as you start moving in the next direction with, this is a problem, let me fix it. And then you move on. It's like, oh, now we have a problem here. So what are we going to do to fix it on this side? So, and we find for us, for our staff, if you actually have the lean, it creates less chaos and they actually work better for us doing it this way than just what we used to do before the time as well. So yeah, it really helped them with, with the cleanness and stuff as well.
Yes. I mean, for me, I love listening to the conversation of the one cleaner lady who became a packer, and eventually she actually manages a vigil. And how did she phone you? What she says, oh my darling, she calls her my darling. She phones, oh my darling. And it's just such a lovely relationship to see them feeling that comfortable and the kindness towards each other in the workplace.
Yeah. No,
talking to each other nicely.
Yeah.
The respect for people is there.
Yeah.
So that's I was going to say, one of the very interesting, sorry, go on.
No, carry on, Roberta.
Okay. No, I just wanted to ask, like, right now at this moment, running the deli from somewhere else and still being able to maintain that sort of relationship. So trust must have been created in the workplace, and I think that's one of the greatest gifts that lean can give you, building trust in the organization. Perhaps you could comment a little bit on that, like you as a leader, Lydia, what was that like? How did you get to that point? How did you earn people's trust?
I guess, like in any job, it's just you build on your relationships with people, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business relationship. It takes a lot of hard work. And if there's a problem, for me, it's just my relationship from my work to my workers, to my friendships. It's no different. You use the same way, and that is proper communication with people. Get to know them. What is their problems? What do they struggle with? If you are truly connected to people and you really care about them, it doesn't matter how the work looks. It doesn't matter what mistakes we are making. It's whether we are really interested in one another. And when you have that connection with people and you are really in union with that, then everything else falls in place automatically. Because what I told my staff just yesterday, it doesn't matter if we are making a mistake. It doesn't matter if something flops, but it's like with your children, whether you're there or not, they know automatically what you want, your standards. Is it okay or is it not okay? And that is what relationships is all about, whether I'm present or not. If we are in union, if we care about each other, it should be enough to make the job work, flows. And when it is not, when the connection is not there, you see it automatically in the work comes through, because when they give me their day's work at the end of the day, I can pick up the mistakes. And when the mistakes are happening, we can know someone is not in union and there's a break in the relationship with each other, and then we need to come back together. We can have all the systems in place, we can have all the tools, but if we don't have a relationship with each other, it will not work. If we don't,
It's interesting. Thank you, Lydia.
Okay, so now we see
one more
why
thing
it's
I
such a
was
good
wondering about. Yes. I just wanted to ask, so, this is a small organization, and, we hear a lot of lean implementations happening in large corporations and huge environments. And I think that, when you really look at the economy of most countries, the backbone of those economies are small businesses. They're the vast majority of the organizations out there. And so I really truly believe that if we were to be able to bring lean thinking to smaller organizations, the impact would be so much bigger. So that's why I thought it would be great for you guys to present this story, because I think that it can be of inspiration to other small businesses. But, onto my question, I was wondering, what do you think larger organizations can take from this? Because, like that relationship, that caring, that you were talking about just now, Lydia, that's not as easy to replicate in a large organization, but maybe finding again that spirit of the origins perhaps of the organization when you're a large corporation, that can be useful. But I wonder if you had any thoughts around that.
I don't know. I don't know how large corporations work, but coming back to, I guess, just living in the world around us and how people deal, it's online, you don't get a lot to see maybe people and stuff like that. And we talk like this on a daily basis, and it's the only thing I can come back to is if we lose focus of people, even in large organizations, you will lose, for me, the company. For me, it's always about the people. I can't build a big organization without the people. And your company, your people is what gives your business the face of the business. Like, it gives the business the identity, how it looks, what it stands for. Otherwise, it's just a mechanical thing without a personality, without a certain feeling. And we are losing people in the process. And if we start losing ourselves, having a business, it's pointless. If I have a big company and I forgot about the people, then what is the point of the business? It's the only thing that matters in the end of the day. It's the only thing I can take with me, how I've treated people, how I've enriched other people's lives. It's not about the monies we are making or necessarily the products we are doing. And all of that is important, because you want to portray, I am someone that gives you a certain product, that gives you value for your money. All of that adds, but without having the people putting in the work and having that relationship with my customer, with my supplier, with my staff, why are we living and why are we getting up to doing this? And for me,
great.
We can never lose sight of that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your story. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank
I'll
you,
see you
Sharon.
soon.
Thank you, Lydia.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.